Well, it looks like Big Con, Steven Crowder versus the Daily Wire will continue into a second week as we have perhaps, hopefully, but hopefully, the exciting conclusion happening tonight on Tim Pool. I'm trying to decide if I should live stream it and watch it with you all, or maybe live stream after and discuss it, because some things are going to be said almost certainly that will need to be responded to, perhaps by the Daily Wire or by the other content creators in the space. Because after all, at least how Steven has positioned this is it's about protecting smaller up and coming content creators, while the Daily Wire has positioned it as being exclusively financial. The truth is probably somewhere in between, and many of you have pushed back on me for being a little too blindly in support of Steven Crowder. And I admit that I take that to heart. I read the comment sections. Many of you have sent me emails. I read those. I can't always respond to every email, but I read those. And you are right. I think that there is some fault to go around here. I still support Steven Crowder as he is an independent versus a super huge mega corporation. But I also kind of wish this hadn't strung out into a second week. Now, what new bombshells will be revealed tonight? It's tough to know, but we do know that the left is absolutely loving this. And we're going to get into a new article from Salon and some of the things that I think are going to happen tonight. I'm doing a one-day only sale. I would have tweeted this out, but Elon has me locked out of Twitter. Free speech, one word, 15% off site-wide, 24 hours only. Will be disabled by tomorrow. Our entire inventory are nearly 20 different coffees, both whole bean and ground, roasted fresh on demand. Our cold brew bags, our double caffeinated, our decaf, our K-Cups, even our Roaster's Choice program, which is extremely popular. Our dozen organic loose leaf teas, our 4 different hot cocos, our chocolates, everything on sale. Please consider supporting the channel by going to coffeebrandcoffee.com. And also, if you haven't yet, please do join the mailing list at thecornering.com. Salon.com writes, the fight over Big Con, Ben Shapiro's beef with Steven Crowder shows male insecurity is profitable. Now, these are the type of articles that the left is going to get out of this. And I think that there's a valid point to be made by, and I see you in the comments, and I see you on Twitter. Well, not currently, but you get the idea. That they're infighting in general is not a good thing. It just isn't. It gives the other side, in this case, big tech and leftism, an in to appear stronger. However, sometimes it's necessary. And perhaps there will be more revealed tonight on Tim's show. The fight is funny, but the real story is how right-wing pundits make millions appealing to the most pathetic men. I mean, this is like the worst nightmare, right? This is like the absolute, the left is loving this. The great Achilles heel of the far right is that fascists and other stripes of authoritarians are cantankerous people. It often takes very little to get them into ugly fights with each other. If I had to pick which political side, I see more of, getting into physical fights in the streets, getting arrested, having meltdowns. This pretty much is an exclusively left-wing thing. But I digress. This is Salon, a left-wing outlet. So so perhaps there's no surprise that the two biggest grifters in the right-wing media ecosystem, Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder, are in a very public, very dumb feud right now. So first of all, it's not necessarily with Ben Shapiro directly. It's with Big Con. And I hope that Steven Crowder makes it more clear tonight, because I think the Daily Wire did a good job and raised some good points, about at least defending their contract, okay? But there are questionable things in the contract that you wonder why they're there at all. You can see here it says, Shapiro offered to bring the popular... Again, Shapiro does not own the company. A billionaire fracker in Los Angeles, California owns the Daily Wire. Another billionaire owns the Blaze. These are not your bedroom, content creators like myself or like Sydney or like Tim, Tim is probably like, I look up to what Tim has really built, and I've been thinking about it every single night, building something pretty cool, actually, I think you're going to like. But I'm taking my time to do it right, and hopefully we'll be able to roll it out sometime in February. But like, Tim, at least you could say, started as basically a guy in front of his webcam, just like me. And he still very much is that guy. Tim's no sellout, okay? But like, it's hard for a lot of regular people to relate to Ben Shapiro, on a personal level. They may like the things he says, but when like Ben Shapiro's like, I don't even pay movers because it's too expensive. I move my credenza myself. I don't believe that. Like, or when Candace Owens is like, people are trying to buy steak and eggs while wearing a $600 dress on $1 million studio with professionally done makeup with a $500 haircut. Again, for me, that doesn't ring very true. You can like Candace Owens. I just don't like the Joe Everyman stuff. These people are all multimillionaires. So I think it's a misstep to really be talking about money, especially when you're, when the left can now use us against them. And, I think that, again, both sides have done some good things. I think that the Daily Wire's fight against poke mandates, very good. I think Steven Crowder's Change My Mind series, very good. Steven Crowder's expose on the super soilgers, very good. Daily Wire's commitment financially to uncancel conservative or like perceived conservative actors like Gina Carano, extremely good. Daily Wire's commitment to creating content that does not indoctrinate our children, very good. For me, picking a side in this fight is difficult because it's like I'm mostly loyal to kind of the individual. Okay, the individual is important to me. That said, I'm not going to pretend that the Daily Wire hasn't done some great things. It's just, I would be disingenuous. And I think like the article, again, because the narrative was successfully shifted to money, this is what the left gets to focus on. The fact that, oh, it's 50 million. Oh, it's 100 million. Oh, it's 30 million. Most regular people are like, I don't care. I just want to fight the fight. I want to fight against censorship. I want to fight against, I don't know, a blue-haired weirdo getting to private access to Elon to deplatform people from Twitter. Nobody's covering that. That's frustrating for me, who sits banned. Everyone's talking about a guy who's making 50 million about a guy to another guy that's making 80 million. Now, I don't think that bringing up how much money people make, though, is a valid excuse to discredit their opinion or discredit their understanding of the fight. But I do think that, tonight is going to be a very important night. When Steven Crowder appears on Timcast, is he going to add gasoline to the fire? Is he going to does he have more phone calls? I legitimately don't know the answer to these questions. Is he going to play more, or is he going to respond to what I thought were, there were a lot of kind of personal attacks. I understand why maybe Jeremy Boring was personally offended, but you had Candace Owens out here calling him, a little B word, all this stuff where they were kind of like, Crowder's the evilest person on the planet to record phone calls. Well, let me ask you guys a question. Okay. We all like it when Project Veritas does it, right? But also, like, let me ask this. Were they? I don't know. Do you think that they were really as close as friends as the Daily Wire implies? I don't know. To me, it seems like they led with the money. He's so rich. Why he's complaining? He's super rich. He wants more money. It was just business. It was just business. when the Daily Wire defended their contract, right? But then Daily Wire was personally heartbroken and devastated and personally in tears over Steven Crowder releasing a phone call. Well, which is it? It's either just business or this is a guy that you were friends with for 12, 14 years and personally betrayed you. The Daily Wire didn't have to insert themselves, right? Crowder never mentioned them. But I do think it's fair to point out that a lot of people were making that, drawing that conclusion, connecting the dots in their own minds. There was only a short list of people like in the conservative space that could have offered him that kind of money. And, there are some key things like the number of ad reads that, the Daily Wire is very well known for. I think that it's definitely an interesting position to be in. I hope that tonight will kind of be the last of it. I know that Crowder's definitely been like fired upon with, by both angles, by both barrels, with Candace Owens coming out very aggressively defending her company. And obviously Ben Shapiro responded and Matt Walsh, I believe, responded and Jeremy Boring responded. So I think it's reasonable to expect some kind of counterpunch here. But I also think that I really kind of hope that this is the end of it. And that I think what we've learned is that, Steven Crowder has a lot of fans and they are going to support him and that he's probably best just going out on his own. And I think that that's totally reasonable. I think the Daily Wire has a lot of fans too. And I think it's important to point out that they share a lot of fans. And at some point, you've got to just say your bit and kind of move on with it. So I think that it's fair for Crowder to want to counter, to cross-examine some of the things that were levied against him, and in particular, the personal attacks. But I think at this point, after tonight's show, maybe all the talking heads like myself talk about it tomorrow, but then that should hopefully be the end of it. And then Steven can focus on building his own thing, which I think hopefully offers a lot of other commentators great opportunities and great options to grow, and the Daily Wire can continue to grow. I think both are forces for good in our space. And it's going to be interesting to see what he says tonight, but I suspect it will probably get worse before it gets better. I'm just hopeful that it ends amicably tonight. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.